What your favorite Rise of Nations country says about you. Keep in mind, these are all jokes. And of course, everyone is different when it comes to playing different nations. That being said, let's start with the one, the only, the United States. As a USA player, you tend to not expand to other countries until there is a big European conflict like France invading Germany. You also sit around all game not invading anyone except Mexico and Canada, and still somehow become #1 on the charts purely based on economy. You have a feeling to beg for a military base in almost every continent, but when it comes to actually defending other countries with the military base, you never do. Next country we have is Spain. When playing as Spain, despite being in Europe, you still always expand into Africa and usually cherish Algeria and Morocco. The biggest war you usually get into is against France over land disputes. You rarely ever win because France occasionally has Germany's land, which gives them a huge tank boost. And for some reason, you always get into big conflicts with either Middle Eastern countries or Russia. But overall, for colonization, Spain is the second best country to pick when wanting easy access to the Americas and Africa. Second, of course, to no other but the best colonization country, France. French players are Sigmas, of course. I show no bias because I do not have a main country. But regardless, French players may be crybabies when it comes to their formables and when they have to fight Germany. They also decide in their brain that all of Europe should be French, so they decide to invade micronations that are minding their own business. There also is not a French player in the world that becomes anything other than nationalism or fascism because they need to air quote colonize the world. French players may be losers when they are on the rise, but when they have formed Napoleon land or the French Revolution, they become pretty chill players. Last but not least for this episode is the most sensitive country, China. Usually known to be the biggest resource hoggers. You guys poop out consumer goods left, right, up, and down. You also invade all land needed by Russia to form like Kazakhstan and everything under it. China players will make millions of consumer goods and up the price by 50 just to get a decent economy. But if the slightest wind or sneeze gets to China, their whole country will fall into colorful pieces like a Rubik's Cube. But when managed correctly, China is the only power that eventually will be able to face off against the USA during endgame. They also end up having the biggest navy because they take Taiwan and Japan early game. Overall, China is a sensitive nation, but when handled correctly, the most powerful second to the USA. Thank you for watching. If you want more Rise of Nations video, like and subscribe. A part 2 will be posted in the near future.